So, and after admission is over, we will be adding 100 points for each consultant in your current coded organization who is here in attendance at admission. All right?
Get a little jump start, right?
That's right.
I don't see a problem.
Take advantage of the time you're left in the contest. And you can find yourself spending some quality time, like they said, with some top field leaders and executives, rubbing elbows with teammates to learn more and relax and have a great time. So if you're interested in that, this is where you could be going.
Now, please welcome Ambit's Senior Vice President of Corporate Product Management and Pricing Strategy, David Visno.
So it was Mark Twain who said, "It's not what we don't know that gets us, it's what we know for sure that just ain't so." Has anyone ever heard this quote before? All right. This is one of my favorite quotes in the world, and I love to read and I love to, study folks that came before me. And the father of literature, he's got a lot of great poignant quotes, but this is probably one of his most famous. And what I really like about it is it can mean something different to each of us in this room. But what I take away from it is false belief can be very powerful, and it can work against us in many instances. But if we challenge that false belief, it can also work in our favor. I think about this event and this company, and for those of us that were here yesterday, some of the amazing stories from the field leaders on the stage. Many folks who were first presented with the Ambit opportunity, they first thought it wasn't for them. They had a belief in their mind that direct selling, direct marketing, this company, selling electricity, wherever it might be, was not for them. And many of them, it took days, weeks, months, some folks even years to challenge those false beliefs and to really investigate the opportunity. And when they did, the results were amazing. If you think about it, they changed their own lives, but I think what's even, probably more exciting and more encouraging for many of us is they changed the lives of many others. And many of the folks in this room, you'll be able to do that if you're not currently a leader, you'll be able to do that in the years going forward. Before I forget, I already forgot, my name is David Visno, by the way. I am the Senior Vice President, I have a really long title, Product Development, Product Marketing, Product Operations, Pricing Analytics, also Head of Commercial. But what I want to talk about today is a follow-up from what I did last year. Last year I was able to come up here and I was able to introduce some new customer offerings, a quick renewal program, customer app, and then a new product that Ambit launched. It's called the Ambit Wholesale Club. And the Ambit Wholesale Club, I think, is very apropos with a quote from Mark Twain that we just discussed. And I'll give you guys an idea why, because it's had quite a life cycle in a very short period of time. So if you'll do me a favor, take that quote, just put it in the back of your mind just for a few minutes. I'm going to revisit it here in a second. But for those who weren't here last year, or for those that are from outside of Texas, or for those who, maybe need a quick refresher course, I'm going to take a couple of minutes and just remind everyone what the Ambit Wholesale Club is. So we announced it last year on the stage, and we started allowing customers to sign up for it, or you guys had your customers sign up for it in October, and we really started to kind of hit the stride with this at the beginning of 2019. It's a new product for the residential space. We have a couple competitors who do something similar. It gives your customers access to wholesale rates for a small daily club fee. You know, I think about my time, I've been in this industry almost 20 years. I was one of the first employees hired by Reliant Energy. Sorry for our folks at Vistra, but many of them came from Reliant as well. In the year 2000, I started in 01. I was one of the first Dallas employees for the new deregulated arm. And prior to the market structure in ERCOT changing, and for those outside of Texas, I'm sorry, I'll use some acronyms and I'll try to explain them. ERCOT is the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. They're the independent system operator. They operate the grid in Texas. And we went through a market change in 2011 from what used to be called the zonal market to a new nodal market, or locational marginal pricing market. Prior to that, there wasn't really a true index product. There was what we often referred to as the balancing market, or the NTP, and it was sort of reserved specifically for large commercial and industrial clients. Well, since the change in the market, and we've had a competitor who released a similar product, you know, there have been a few companies that have brought this product out to residential customers. And if you remember last year, we talked in depth about the product itself. Have a little visual behind me that we presented. And we talked about that this product is not for everybody. It is not like a traditional fixed price product in the fact that it doesn't offer budget certainty. There is some risk with this product, but there also can be some reward. You know, the price risk is often shifted from the retail electric provider to the customer, but the customer can also benefit from those, from taking that price risk in times when the grid is very stable and the real-time prices are extremely low, like right now, for instance. Before I walked out on stage, I just checked, and anybody can do this on their phone as well by going to ERCOT's website. It's pretty easy to find. Currently, folks on the wholesale product are paying about 1.8 cents for their energy, so it's pretty low right now. Prices are pretty mild. And we talked about this. We talked about who this product was right for, folks who were willing to take at least somewhat of an active participation in managing their electricity, to take advantage when prices were low, and to potentially reduce their consumption when prices inevitably increase, which they, in a healthy market, they're going to increase at least at some point. And we talked as well about how to sign up in the product and to make sure that our customers read the EFL, like in all products, and go through the terms and conditions. We even have a hyperlink on our product page that pulls up some general information about the product that once again talks about who this product may be here for. Well, let me tell you, you guys did a really good job at selling it, by the way. This became, in Texas and the US, one of our top selling products for 2019 in terms of new enrollments and new customers. And for the first 6 months or so of the year, the wholesale market, or the real-time index, prices were extremely low. In comparison to comparable fixed price products, many customers were realizing bills that were 50% less than they had come off of, you know, the previous year, and they were realizing this month over month. And I think something happened to us. It happens commonly to human beings and everyone in this room. It's a phenomenon that many people may be familiar with. It's called recency bias. And we have a tendency as folks to, whatever has happened to us recently, we have a tendency to think that that is going to continue to happen into the future. And so our customers who maybe used to pay $200 a month for electricity, we're now seeing bills that were $100 a month. They started to depend and think that every bill should be half of what they used to pay. And for the first 6 months or so, that's kind of what we saw with this product. Then we got to August in Texas. Anybody from here knows what happened this year in August. And what happens every year in August. And I'm going to use Dallas-Fort Worth since that's where we're at as the example. Typically, we actually have our first 100-degree day in Dallas-Fort Worth on July 1st. And we usually have 18 100-degree days on average each year. This year, we didn't achieve our first 100-degree day until July 30th, so it was roughly 30 days after we typically have it. And for those that are from here, or from any part of the state, if you remember, the early part of the summer, and summer in Texas, at least from the grid perspective, is June through September. So June and July were very mild. It was wetter than normal. Temperatures were really good. Wind was blowing relatively well. Grid conditions were very stable. And so I think that recency bias of low prices and mild weather had certainly set in across the marketplace. We got to August. It got extremely hot. It got really hot on some days. We didn't see a atomic level that we got close. Anybody who goes outside and exercises, walks the dog, whatever, I think you're with me, or goes outside in the suit, it got extremely hot. And so what happened in the market, we had some periods where prices increased. And it increased for a number of reasons. I think Jerry has done a really good job of explaining the shift in the market that ERCOT, that the grid has experienced over the last handful of years. Wind generation has become a predominant part of our generation stack. It's displaced some of our baseload generation. It's extremely inexpensive when the wind is blowing, and it's great for retail customers on a wholesale type product when the wind is blowing. It's fantastic. But what happens when the wind doesn't blow? It can become a challenge, and that's sort of what happened this August. We had high temperatures, which we typically expect. But what happens when temperatures get high, when we get to that atomic level? We all go home and we turn our air conditioners on. Kids are home from school. When it's really, really hot outside, they may not be able to play outside, so maybe they come inside and they play inside, which means we turn the AC on even more. And so the demand on the grid increases, and the supply on the grid, when all conditions are working, is usually pretty stable. Going into the year, we had talked last year about a shrinking reserve margin in ERCOT, and I don't want to get too technical against it. I think last year, some people, probably tuned me out after I said a few of these words, but we had some shrinking excess buffer generation, and so we had sort of the opportunity to see some short-term but high-price spikes, and we haven't really experienced those in the last several years. To give you an example, there's something called an EEA, an emergency energy alert, that ERCOT will issue when grid conditions look as though they are getting less than stable. ERCOT hasn't. ERCOT, the independent system operator, the folks who run the grid in Texas, they have not issued one of those in 5 years up until this year, and they issued 2 in the same week this year. And so, all the demand on the grid, the shifting dynamics of the generation bid stack that Jerry talked about earlier, those things led to some increased prices. And we had a couple of days, and most of these, the increase in prices were centered around a few hours in a few days. But something interesting happened. We have a competitor, I'm not going to name their name, some of you may know who they are. They offer a similar product that we do, but they are a prepaid company, so they require their customers to pay for their electricity in advance. And so during these times when prices were increasing, some of their customers' credit cards were getting charged $50, $60, $70, $80, $100 plus a day, and there started to become a little bit of a freak out factor, a little bit, of panic in the marketplace that started reflecting itself through newscasts, print media, social media, word of mouth, that electricity prices were going through the roof and they were going to stay there forever. And that did impact some of our customers, and I think it goes back to that quote that we talked about when I first came out here 10 minutes ago. It's not what we don't know that gets us, it's what we know for sure that just ain't so. I think we had some customers, and possibly some consultants, who thought, the end is near. Are we ready to say, prices are going to be high forever. My customers are all going to leave me in mass because they saw a report or a post on Facebook, that we did have some intermittent higher prices. Now the good news is, as a company, we saw this coming in advance, so we tried to assist customers in providing notification that these price increases were coming. Being out in the market every day, this is sort of what we live, eat, and breathe. We're able to tell, or at least have a general idea of when we see prices are going to increase. So we sent out, as you can see, 8 different alerts through email, through our app, posted on social media, asking customers to conserve, and many of our customers did, and quite frankly, many of our customers were not impacted by these high prices. They may have been afraid that they were going to be, but the fact that they participated and conserved their electricity during these, 5 or 6 days of 3 or 4 hours of high prices during the day, they actually benefited. They also looked at the app. If you remember last year we announced the app, and we said that for Ambit wholesale customers, they would have some special functionality on the app where they can look at the real-time price as it occurs, and we would send alerts through the app. And so once again, by participating in managing their electricity, this product actually worked as it was intended. And the great thing is, these are actual numbers. And if you look at the energy price, the average energy price on this product, once again, I want to go back to that quote we talked about a few minutes ago. It's not what we don't know that gets us, it's what we know for sure that just ain't so. Many folks thought that we were going to have a repeat of polar vortex, that prices were going to be 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 cents a kilowatt hour, when in truth, the average rate that customers on this product have paid since January has been less than 5 cents for energy. And so most customers, got a few people, all right, thank you. Most customers have realized savings on this product if they've been on it for, several months. Some folks who just signed up on it, it may take them a few months to realize their savings. Now, there is not a guarantee of savings, but certainly there is the opportunity to achieve savings that you would not be able to achieve if you signed up on a fixed price product. Now, the good thing is, at our corporate office, we realized that some of this panic had set in the market that was out of our control, that was driven a lot of times by once again the advent of social media and some of the reporting that was done on this. So we took some measures and we armed our call center agents with some tools to help customers if they did receive a higher than average bill, that would allow them to either spread their payment out over time, would allow them to easily switch to a fixed price product, would potentially reduce some of the switching fees or eliminate those altogether. And so we tried to be very proactive from a company standpoint. And unfortunately, these are things that our competitor, because of their prepay nature, could not do. So the market didn't fully absorb or understand that. But the good news is customers who have been on this product, once again, have most likely benefited if they've stayed on it and didn't switch when prices had a few blips in August. The easiest thing I could compare it to is anyone who had a retirement account that was around, let's say, in late 08, early 09, when we went through the subprime or the financial crisis. Stock market, fell in excess of 50% depending on which index you look at. And many folks sold at the bottom. And they never recovered their money, but for the folks who left their money in and just didn't touch it and looked at and had a longer-term view, which this product, is sort of a longer-term view as well. For anyone who's following it, the stock market recently has touched all-time highs. The Dow right now is trading, a couple thousand points below 30,000, which obviously is extremely high. So folks who took a longer-term approach, they benefited by not overreacting to some of the panic that was set out in the marketplace. And that's sort of the same thing with this product. This product was never meant to be a product that everybody switches all of their customers to. This was meant to be a product that you guys could have as a tool, along with your other products. The other products that we have are fixed price products, our green products, products that are set up for the vast majority of folks. This was meant to be a complementary product that customers who are willing to participate, who are willing to, potentially manage their load, and who can absorb some month-to-month price volatility, they could possibly benefit from. So this is just a summary of what I've talked about. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this. You guys can read it if you'd like to. It just basically says what I just said. But I'd like to close. I have a couple minutes left with you guys of going back to this quote. It's not what we don't know that gets us, it's what we know for sure that just ain't so. In the tenet of false belief. It's a powerful, powerful human dynamic. It's something that we all go through on a regular basis. We often jump to conclusions based on what someone tells us, what we hear a snippet of on the news, what we maybe read on a post from someone on a social media site, and that can often shape our future. And if you think about what our company's embarking on right now, as I said earlier, we've had so many success stories of folks who have challenged that false belief and have become extremely successful and have changed their lives and have changed the lives of many others. And the company's embarking on sort of a new, frontier with the Vistra acquiring Ambit. And it's been an amazing 13 years. I've been around, obviously this is my 5th ambition, so I haven't been around even for half of it. But the time that I've been here, I've seen the company continue to grow and have met some amazing people. But I firmly believe, and hopefully you guys do as well, and if anyone has any false beliefs about what the future is, I hope that you'll challenge those, because I firmly believe the best for this company is yet to come. And I firmly believe that everybody in this thanks for your time. You guys have a great rest of your ambition and have a great fun night.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage National Consultant Debbie Harris.
in thanks to this opportunity. That stands for Retired Registered Nurse. I'm a national consultant, and they gave me this beautiful plaid jacket to wear because we've made over $10 million. I tell you all of that because I want to tell you one thing. It didn't just happen overnight. It happened over a period of time. It happened because we got in, we worked hard, we were determined, we were committed, we sacrificed, and it happened over time. So that's what I want to tell you today. If you get in, and if you're just going to try Ambit, well, that's not commitment. If you get in and you don't work hard, you're not going to see the success you want. If you get in and you're not determined and you don't want to overcome the adversities, you don't want to sacrifice, you're not going to see the success you want. So I want to line out and tell you what we did to accomplish what we wanted, and that was our dreams. Unfortunately, the older you get, the more you don't dream. That just happens. That's life. That's human nature. We forget to dream. So Ambit puts a lot of dreaming back into your life. So when I first got in and I saw that compensation plan, I'm like, oh, I can make $500 extra here every month. That would be awesome, right? That's all I saw in the very beginning was $500 extra in my bank account each and every month. Now, it really did turn into a lot more than that, but that's what I started out with. That was my why. You see, your why has to be a why that makes you cry. And the reason $500 extra every month would make me cry is because I was working 60 to 80 hours a week in nursing, 2 high-stress nursing jobs, and I never saw my children. They lived in Austin. And unfortunately, I did not have the money bringing them up to give them a college education. So I taught them to do what I did. Just put in a lot of hours and work as hard as you can for success. And that's what they were doing. And because we lived 4 hours from each other, we didn't see each other much. And $500 extra in my bank account on the side, part-time, you know what that would do? That would make it where I wouldn't work maybe an extra weekend shift, and I could see them more. So yes, my why was clearly defined, and it was a why that made me cry. Clearly define your why. Look at your family. Is that your why? You see, it's human nature to want more for our family than our parents gave to us. And so make that why a why that makes you cry. Is commitment. You have to be committed to work hard. I would go to work and work back-to-back 8-hour shifts, 16 hours a day. But I was committed to working hard. I worked hard in nursing, and I worked hard in my Ambit business. So hard that 15 to 30 minutes a day turned it into really a 6-figure income in less than a year. I retired from nursing in a year. I found the time, you know, because we worked really hard at those jobs. And I saw the other nurses taking smoke breaks. So I thought, okay, that's when I could go and make my calls. Sometimes we worked through lunch and stuff like that. But it was so amazing, all the nurses still took their smoke breaks. So I told the doctors, I said, I'll see you in 15 minutes, I gotta go take my smoke break. After about a week, my doctor came up to me and he goes, did you start smoking? I said, no, but I'll see you in 15 minutes. That's when I would go and make my calls to be successful in Ambit Energy. So you have to be determined. Determined through all the no's. No, I don't want to be your customer and I don't want to be your consultant. You have to be determined through all the no-shows at the BPs. through all the calls that you're going to make that never get answered or even returned. Be determined. You see, what you have your hands on is something amazing. It's so amazing that once you really understand it and believe it, there is going to be no stopping you. Be determined. And learn how to overcome adversity. Are you busy? Do you have a busy schedule? Do you have a job? Kids that take your time? Well, learn how to work around these adversities. When you do that, there's nothing that's going to stand in your way of having success. You see, I had a lot of adversity. I had 4 of my best girlfriends. They wouldn't look at Ambit, and they wouldn't even become my customer. Are you kidding me? Really? You're not going to support me? So one day when they found out I was quitting my nursing profession to go full-time into Ambit and what they call sell electricity, they had to have an intervention. They set me down and said, we cannot believe you're giving up your nursing career to sell electricity. I said, well, you don't understand it then. You see, I love what I do in Ambit Energy. I'm helping people either save money or change their lives by making money. That's very rewarding. My nursing career was rewarding too, but this is just as rewarding. And if you really wanted to help out, you would be my customer. They said, you really are making as much money and you love it? And I said, yes, and let me tell you the main thing. In nursing, 60 to 80 hours high stress. In Ambit, 15 to 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, 2 hours a day, whatever I can put into it. No stress. So let me ask you, is this about your happiness or mine? They said we did not realize that it's about your happiness, Debbie. They became my customers that day, over 12 years ago, and they're still my customers to this day. Stay with it, stay focused, get centered, you'll have the same success. Have a great ambition. God bless.
He's known for his willingness to help others whether they're part of his downline or not. Let's make some noise for executive consultant Reese Vargas of Chicago. He's built successful teams in both Texas and Ohio with unmatched dedication to the basics, training, business presentations, and coaching. And he does it for other teams just as eagerly as he does his own. Let's let senior consultant Rafael Diaz-Garin know what a great job he's doing. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage national consultants Richard and Marion Wade.
I could stand over here and we can do the dirty dancing catch. Anyway, so if you come on stage and have no idea what you're going to talk about, that's not this moment. So literally, this talk, this tool that we've been working with started a little bit over a year ago.
Yeah, when we found out about these travel cards, we wanted to make sure it was a vital tool. And so Richard and I did a lot of background and tested it. And then in January, we launched it with our team. And so it was so incredibly successful that we decided that we needed to open it up to other cross-lines as well.
You know, I think a lot of people when they start a business, or especially when they join a network marketing company, or they just start Ambit Energy, they think that the only investment I need to make into my business is my enrollment fee and my monthly website fee. The fact of the matter is, what you heard all day yesterday is you're going to constantly invest in resources and tools over and over again, because that's what feeds the machine. You've got this machine, you got your team as a machine, but you need to feed that machine.
You know, Rich and I have been doing a lot of seminars and training, and one of the things we heard at the last training seminar we did was that there's no shortage of resources for people. And one of the great things about our Ambit businesses, Ambit Energy has provided us incredible resources for growing our business. But what people lack is resourcefulness. Sometimes we don't just, we get these tools, but we don't know how to apply them. And one of the great things about our business is you get some masterful masterminds coming together to apply things.
You know, every now and again, through over a period of years in this company, now almost 13 years, there's always a tool that gets released that takes our business to the next level. I can remember the first year that we got the Success from Home magazines put out there, and how everybody, all the leaders armed their teams with these magazines, and everyone's businesses skyrocket. In our personal opinion, with what we've seen over the past few months, and the two gentlemen that we're about to bring on stage, what we've seen is that this travel discount card has given people the ability to go out there and ask for something and give them something. Meaning, they've got this plastic courage now that a brand new marketing consultant can go, you know what, I can't ask my mom for the bill. I can't ask my brother for the bill. I can ask my coworker for the bill because I've got something of value to give them. The perceived value of this card far outweighs anything you could possibly give them in return, or what most of our competitors are giving in return.
Now, when Richard and I were first utilizing these cards, we had some great ideas about how to utilize them and how our team could utilize them. And then when we opened it up to other leaders, they took it to a whole other level and really broadened the scope of what's available in these businesses.
So would you guys please help me welcome Executive Consultant Chad Crenshaw and Maksud Mir.
Guess what, Mayor? I signed up to be an Ambit customer, and my consultant actually gave me a $5 Starbucks gift card. Did you believe that?
Really, Chad? That's awesome. That's fantastic. You got a $5 gift card, Chad. But guess what I got? My consultant, for signing up as a customer, gave me a $100 Go card. It's a travel discount.
So I got to have a conversation with my consultant. I would much rather have a $50 card. I don't even drink coffee. Who's your consultant?
That's awesome. So guys, my name is Mir. Thank you very much, Richard and Mary, and choosing the Rainmakers for piloting the go-karts, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, our business, our job is to create retention and longevity for both customers and consultants. I've always appreciated the power of introducing new tools to consultants, and the time when we needed this program was introduced to the Rainmakers, and we heavily needed an effective tool that could enroll a lot of customers for us. After simulcast, we had an explosion of people joining us, and the go-karts were the perfect tool to hand it to them. So guys, can I share a secret with you guys? Yeah. All right, events mean customers for us. Events generate customers. So I'll name a few people that have done some great events there. SC's Coralie, Dana, Tanya, Gary, Bob, Mike. You know all of you guys. I think too many to name. Guys, they used it extensively for events like the Railroad Days in Galesburg and home shows in Peoria. SC's Pam and Steve, Jeff and Nathan have used it, several hundreds of these cards there to incentivize their customer gathering efforts. Soon to be EC Morgan Smith actually uses them to keep that pipeline of customers and consultants flowing, it's a recruiting pipeline. So a couple of blazing testaments for this go cards I'm going to tell you is this. SC's Phyllis and Tracy Lar, and then Tracy, Ruben and Tasha just did a tremendously successful event called the Sweet Corn Festival in Champaign, where they used 300 cards to gain more leads than they have ever gotten. Guys, Lupita Flores, Doug, and Sandra did the Working Woman Show in Champaign also just a month ago. And they, in 4 hours, they filled out 307 lead slips, guys. Those are things the customers consultants. So that's awesome. They've done a good job. I'll tell you what this cards, I mean, I'm going to give you some results what happened in terms of financial stuff there also. So March till July, we enrolled nearly 1,800 consultants in Illinois, in our organization. With that, with the help of the go-cards, and thanks Mary and Richard supplying us the thing, but we triggered 96% of those bonuses and promoted nearly a couple of hundred regional consultant seniors and an executive consultant. 'Cause, 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 'cause
So ladies and gentlemen, a typical person spends more time planning 1 week vacation than planning your life. And most don't realize that there are better ways to build a business. They only know the good way to build a business. But there are better ways. This is a better way, guys. So whether you are a grinder or a builder and you know who you are, go get those cards. Guys, these are available right now for $2. Go out and get these cards. Get it to your consultant customers' hands. And make sure they know how to use them to fill your BPs and your bank accounts, guys. I thank you very much.
You know, what's incredible is when Richard and Mary actually brought these cards to us and unveiled them. I heard them, you know, talking to people about getting them out into the field. And sometimes things just click. And I heard people saying, I'd like to buy 5, I'd like to buy 10, I'd like to buy this many. And I was listening and I actually understood the value already from afar. And I said, I'll take 400. And it's really incredible because people only see things like this as a way to get a customer, right? But the value of getting a customer, retaining a customer, just giving the cards to somebody to potentially be your customer. You see, we give them out, maybe a little too loosely, we give them out like candy. We actually give them to our new consultants when they join the business, and I say, here's 20 cards. Your job is to go get these out to potential customers. Give them to them just to say, give me an opportunity to save you money on your energy bill. Just give them the card, even if they can't, even if Ambit can't save them money on their bill. That's okay. Everybody can't be your customer, and you get these cards out. And some of the people who can't be your customer for whatever reason, they actually become a referral source because they would like to go on vacation with someone else. A really quick story. You know, we were using them as, you know, consultant leads, right? When we have business presentations and everything else, we say, just tell everybody to be a guest that you're going to give them one of these $100 travel reward cards just for coming. Mary actually attended an event and had one gentleman walk up and everybody was introducing themselves and he said, hey, listen, I'm not into these things. I just came here for the $100 travel reward card. And I said, okay, no problem. And after it was over, he was the first one that became a consultant, and he became a customer, and he passes out some of these cards to this day. You know, a lot of this business is about mindset, right? A lot of this business is about mindset, and when people join the business, they're not 100% sure they can go talk to somebody about becoming a customer or becoming a consultant. And what this does, what the card does that he has, it truly gives someone, you know, more of a backbone, more, you know, more power and leverage to actually go talk to someone because, you know, some people don't think it's enough to go save somebody money on their energy bill, right? But they think that they have something tangible that they can actually give a customer. It gives them a different mindset, a different posture where they can actually go out and do it. You know, we don't sign consultants up in the business. It's not just a sign-up party. We need to go get customers so we can support this business and so we can support this company and get people their money back. And I'm telling you, the power of these cards is truly, truly remarkable. I know they have them out there for sale, and I suggest you buy them all out while we're at this event and use them to go crush your business. Thank you very much.
So here's the thing. You know, they're available at the event right now for $2. And, you know, when Mary and I were doing this, piloting the program, you know, we didn't have the overhead or operations that are needed. We were just kind of having our kids load boxes and send stuff out, handling stuff through PayPal. But now you've got a fully automated system for doing this. So at the event pricing, at our request, they agreed that they would go ahead and do these for $2. But the retail price of these is going to go up to $3 after the event. And what I mean by after the event, I mean tomorrow, because they're not going to be at the American Airlines Center. The store is open there today all day. I don't actually know the time that it closes, but it's only open for today for you to get those cards. Now, I'm a business owner. I've been a business owner since I was 18 years old. If I knew something was going to go up 50% the next day, I don't think I would wait to invest in my business for doing that. You just heard 2 testimonies from gentlemen that have grown their business extraordinarily. There's many, many others from coast to coast that have used this and put this into their customer gathering systems, their consultant prospecting systems, and they've armed their new marketing consultants from day one to go out there and build their business. Because every marketing consultant, the day they join, is the most belief they have. What we have to do is we have to give them as much confidence as possible that they can go out there and build this business just like we did.
You know, when you integrate these Go cards into your day-to-day systems for gathering customers and prospecting consultants, it starts to become a more natural use of it. And one of the things that I found is it dramatically increases a consultant's effectiveness. How many of you have invited someone to a business presentation and they no-show? Am I the only one, right? It happens all the time. It happens to the best of us. I'm sure it even happens to Brian McClure. But one of the things that I found is after we do a three-way call with someone, I typically text the consultant and let them know, hey, take a picture of the front of the card, send it to your guests, and let them know I have one of these travel cards for you when you come to the meeting on Thursday. And wouldn't you know, they almost either always 100% show up, or they call them and say, hey, I cannot be there, but I do want one of those cards. How can I get one? And so that increases their effectiveness of having people show up. And when the guest shows up and they get the card and they see the presentation and they see that that card got them to show up and how simple it is, they start duplicating it. They start doing the exact same thing. And that's why some of these teams are growing exponentially, because they're using it as part of their system.
You know, one of the things that we got first asked early on was, hey, can this be a digital version? I'm like, absolutely. Take a picture, just like Mary said, and send it to them. The beauty about this is that it's lightweight. You can carry these anywhere. You don't have to put these in the mail and send them to a customer for giving you a referral, or send them to a prospect that just looked at the video, let's say, that lives, you know, across town or another city, another country, whatever that might be. All you have to do is take a picture of the back of it. The activation cards are right there. The instructions are right there. And the beautiful thing is that there were some people yesterday that had said, hey, I have a concern that we were getting the other cards and they had an expiration date once they were activated. Well, we got permission backstage to let you guys know that the cards, once they're activated, there is no expiration date.
Yeah! That's awesome.
Those cards can be used around the world at over 500,000 hotels for all your consultants, prospects, customers, whatever it is you do, and they don't have to worry about, oh my God, I got to book it now. Now I've only got 200 days to use it. They don't have to do that. They can just go ahead and activate and use it and plan their schedule accordingly.
You know, one of the other things about the cards is that we have been able to really utilize it here in Texas. How many of you in Texas have struggled with getting a bill from a customer, right? Just to switch them.
6 people.
6 people. Y'all, the rest of you from Texas are lying, because I know I have that problem all the time. One of the things that we've done is we've gotten customers to send their bills quickly because they wanted access to these cards. So when you ask the customer, hey, would you send me a copy of your bill? And really, we can't do much without the copy of their bill.